Good evening, everybody. Good evening to you. It's another Saturday, and I'm glad to be here with you. I'm glad that you took some time to be here with me as we share every week at this time in this podcast. Talk about some interesting things that I think are important, especially nowadays. I am here with you, but I'm not here alone. I was thinking, Bishop, when we first met, and it had to be about 25 years ago now.
Absolutely. At least. At least.
It's been
At
it's
least.
been a minute.
Yeah.
A
Yeah, it
lot of
is.
life has happened in these 20 25 years or whatever. So I'm glad you're still doing well. I'm glad to see your face.
I
Uh,
am doing well, and same with you. I'm
yeah,
honored that some people in your past reached back and grabbed you, and I appreciate you grabbing me.
oh, please, no, 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 no. You're a very bishop different Greg Davis than the one I met 20 something years ago, and I'm a different Patrick.
Yeah.
So I am so glad that we have this conversation, not just to catch up, but to hear who you are now and what's important to you. And we were both we were both in church a lot back. back
Enough to if we didn't want to go again, enough of us that don't we wouldn't feel guilty.
One day. No.
No, I got my time in since I was 9 years old, so I'm good.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, yeah, we'll talk a little bit about that. But I want people to know who you are, who are not familiar with you. I know you are a Detroit native and a bishop in the Lord's Church and all the rest. But I'm interested into who you are now and what are your passions and what are you doing.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me, and thank you for doing this. And I'm so proud of you. Some things that were spoken over your life that come to pass, and we've evolved, and that's who I am. I'm evolved and
Mhm.
evolving.
Mhm.
Uh, I've done things in the last 2 years of the pandemic. And some people said when the pandemic was going on, is actually still going on.
Yeah, 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 exactly.
Some people I don't get it. They still doing church talk, but anyway, uh,
Mhm.
um, so I am somebody that has made a lot of mistakes while yet being um, a bishop in the Lord's church, and broken and forgiven and all that stuff. No regrets, but I'm taking my experiences of divorce, um, marriage, um, singleness, being a Christian television host for 16 years now. You wasn't even around when all that happened,
Mhm.
but I'm doing what most people are asking for, and it is for those of us that are leaders in the church to talk about relationship.
Mhm.
Um, there are not many that are doing it, and I figure at this point in my life, what I have to lose. I don't live by the drumbeat of people,
All right.
and not saying that you have to be reckless with that, but I think that I can pass on my experiences so people won't make the same mistake. So 11 years ago, I after divorce, I started tweeting because it was only Twitter then.
Mhm.
The first, I never forget, the first one said, if in order to get the right one, you have to become the right one. And I started doing some other things just out of my mind of what, I had been through. Uh, and I tried to stop tweeting, and people said, no, we like it. And so I kept tweeting, and it's turned into so many things now when the right one comes.
Mhm.
And so I'm a relationship coach. It wasn't trying to be, but the pandemic kind of pushed me there.
Mhm.
Rebranded myself. I'm still a bishop in the Lord's church. I'm still one of the bishops in full gospel. I still preach. I don't pastor.
Mhm.
I don't plan to pastor again.
Mhm.
Um, but this whole virtual space has afforded me to do things that I had thought about, because prior to the pandemic, um, we didn't have a lot of time to do things that we dreamed about, and the pandemic gave us time to evolve and do things that we didn't think that we would be able to do. So I do that. I still do the Word Network daily. Still still a Christian television host, but now I've added relationship to it, and it's instead of people stopping me saying, "Oh, I watch you on the Word Network," they say, "Oh, you the guy in TikTok, you the
Right.
guy on Instagram." So yeah, that's who I am right now.
That's great, and I've watched and listened and have really been inspired, and a lot of things you said resonate with me. Um, the commonalities that you and I have together is that we're both church kids,
Hmm.
steeped in church, and our marriages and divorces were in the context of the church. And so, before we get to that transition in your life, I'm always interested, especially specifically talking to men, about where did you get your first ideas about love from, right? We say it a lot, and of course, I guess as far back as we remember being loved and hearing that word, but I'm not sure if it was really defined for us in ways that for me it was Disney that gave me my ideas about what love was. What is your first remembrance of love? What that was, and how was that influenced and defined for you?
Until I was n- n- um, probably 9.5 years old, I really didn't know what it was. I grew up in New York with my mother, who had a common law husband for 7 years. And if I was to think it was love, I would think of cocaine,
Mhm.
heroin, her leaving me at night, going to sell her body, him and his band in the bathroom shooting up because he was very popular. 1960s. Actually, the Blues Brothers was depicted from Sam and Dave, and Sam was my stepfather.
I didn't know
Um,
that.
yeah, yeah,
Wow.
he's still living actually.
Okay.
Sam Moore. Uh, we live 55th and 8th Avenue in Wesley apartment in New York. So I didn't know what love, it's like the old song, wanna know where love is.
You're right.
But when my dad asked my mom, could I go to Detroit? Then I saw love. I didn't just hear it.
Hmm.
I saw uh uh I saw love through my grandparents.
Hmm.
For 64 years they were married.
Hmm.
I'm talking about real love. Not perfect, because love is not perfect.
Hmm.
But that's where I learned about love and affection and all that, because if I went by my mother, she told me that she wished she could have flushed me down the toilet like the other two.
Yeah.
She was pregnant by two. She had been pregnant twice, two other times, and she pulled them out of her womb and flushed them down with a clothes hanger. And so that was my experience of love.
Hmm.
My grandparents.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And then were they the ones who brought you to church?
Oh, absolutely. Pastor Ananias Davis, First Lady Davis.
Okay.
Yeah, at 9 years old. Yeah, I had known nothing about. Only person I ever heard as far as church was Reverend Ike. You can't lose on Saturdays and Sundays on WLBS.
Yeah.
You can't lose with the stuff I did,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that I didn't know nothing about church until I got to Detroit 50 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, 50 years. I'll be 60 this year.
Okay. And so, what was then? Say, I'm horribly interested now because when you say
Uh,
Detroit and you say that time, I'm thinking a lot of people come to name: Charles Nix, Lucille Lemon, Maddie, Thomas, like all of these, Craig boys, Charles Ashley Craig, Voices of Tabernacle, all of those people who were in my consciousness because of my dad. Um,
Those are
and those,
those are everyday people to me.
yeah,
Cause
like those were his peers, right? So they just like
yeah.
were people, and you grew up in that space. What was that? What was that like?
So Thomas Whitfield, I presided over his funeral.
Mm, mhm,
I mean, we see each other at the Chinese restaurant all the time. I mean, we was cool. Like so cool. I never forget the Craig brothers. I traveled with them. You know, me and my no singing self was a part of the group. They called it the group. And I
mhm,
never forget we were at their mom's funeral and we were in St. Louis. And Tommy said, Greg, where you going? I said, we're going to McDonald's. He said, bring me two of everything. Gave us $20. I got stories. Uh, the Craig brothers,
yeah.
my pastors, where I received, I don't even know if you know this, where I received my calling.
Okay.
I had left my grandparents and I preached my first sermon 36 years ago this year at Craig Memorial.
Craig Memorial. Right. So yeah. Okay.
When I leave my grandfather's all day long in church, a few times I would be at 104 Elliott,
Mm-hmm.
which was Prayer Tabernacle.
Mm-hmm.
Before their uncle took it over. I'm actually talking about when the dad was living. I didn't know who they was. I just heard it was good church
Yeah.
because that's just it was they was just regular people in Detroit.
Right.
You name it, Donald Vell, sung in the summer choir, making $8-9 an hour for singing in the summer choir.
Yeah.
Uh, Lucille Lemon came and
And
asked my
of
grandfather.
course. Yeah.
Yeah, came and asked my grandfather. I was 16.
Mm-hmm.
Can he travel with me and help me direct the choir? I was the choir director, and I would invite everybody to my grandfather's church.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I
Mm-hmm.
was like the PR person, you know, unofficial. And so Miss Lemon, I traveled with her across the country until she died.
Yeah.
I was I had broke my wrist had I had been shot in my wrist and she had bone cancer. So I would direct with one hand and she would direct from the wheelchair. And we traveled all over the country
Mm-hmm.
until I was there when she took her last breath.
Mm-hmm.
So all those people, they were they were my heroes, but they were regular people here, you know.
And and I think you've lived long enough, and I've lived long enough too, to see the church we grew up in is not the church we exist in now.
Yeah.
The church is the people are different. The leadership is different. The pews are different. Like everything is very different. And one of the things that was not talked about a lot for me was the idea of death, right? That the more we live, the more people fall away from us. And there were some really influential people that were part of your journey that fell off along the way. They went to heaven, transitioned to being in heaven, and perhaps it was time. How do you understand death? How do you grieve? Um, and coming away from that, what does that mean to you now?
You know, that's an interesting question because this morning we lost one of our bishops, and he actually was a good friend of mine, Bishop Courtney Jones from St. Louis.
Okay.
Um, and it shook me like I've never been shaken because I don't have that many close friends that have died. I have people I know, but you know, close.
Mhm.
Um, and close for me is I don't talk to anybody every day. Anybody. I'm just not that kind of person. But we were friends. We hung out. But and as I get older, death is more of a reality to me because you start having pains you didn't have before and you realize that you are not here forever. And COVID
Mhm.
has really caused you to really be like, hey, you better do some things that you wanted to do. You better take things a little more serious
Mhm.
and a warp speed. And I'm COVID phobia. I don't go nowhere hardly.
Mhm.
Um, but death is so uncertain.
Mhm.
And I know I walk with God. Yeah, we know all the scriptures. Yeah, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. But like we believe in heaven, but it's just like a relationship with somebody. It's the unknown. You're
Yeah.
taking, and preachers won't talk about that even because we preach it, but we don't want nobody to think that we fearful what we preach. But we're human also.
Yeah.
So when I think of death, I think of one word: uncertain. Not uncertain where I have work to go, but uncertain what happens.
Mhm.
What will be the last breath? Will I
Mhm.
know it? Will I
Mhm.
feel it?
Mhm.
So when I think of death, um, that's kind of my feeling of it. Now because we're all getting older, some of the same people I know, it's inevitable that some are gonna go that were close to you,
Mhm.
So yeah, it's the uncertainty.
Yeah, and I think also about when do we die, right?
Yeah.
I remember when my dad passed, and he was on life support, but they were saying, the brain activity is not there. And I remember sitting for about a week. I would go back and forth, and I'm looking at him, and I'm saying, like, when did you go? Where did you go? Your body is still functioning on some level or another, but like, when does death happen? Does it happen when our brain activity goes? Does it happen when we take our last breath? Does that matter if a machine is helping us breathe? Like, when and how does it actually happen? So, to your idea about the uncertainty of it, it is indeed a great mystery.
It
uh,
is. And Pat, I think that no matter how we talk about and debate it, because I have some friends like Prophet Karn and others, they like to just sit and debate this stuff, listen and all people they just sit. I walk away
mhm.
because really we just, as the young folks say, we just chatting because
Yeah.
we really that it's okay to say there's some mysteries that you don't know.
We have to say.
No, but a lot of folk won't say that. They think they know it. They're masters of everything. Yeah, jack of all trade and master
Nothing.
of nothing.
Right.
And so, I'll t- I'll I'll be honest with you. I'll tell people in a minute if I'm just gonna. I say I really don't know,
Yeah.
and I'm not afraid to. I think you're more wiser when you say you don't know.
And it actually is what our faith is built on, right? That
Mhm.
the idea of the uncertain, and yet this is uncertain, and I move past the uncertainty to believe anyway,
Yeah,
right? That's faith.
yeah.
It is the substance things of what we don't have, we can't ascertain. And so this whole idea that in order for me to be faithful, I have to be sure about everything, I have to know everything, is ridiculous.
Let's face it. I had this conversation. I was on Liston show some time back, and let's face it, we work for somebody that we don't even see.
Mm,
And we have to explain that to people.
right.
You gotta be a little uh you gotta be a little cray cray. All of us. You know, every now and then I look at Bishop Carlton Pearson. We may not agree with everything that he says,
Mhm,
but every now and then I surf and I look at his lives, and he talks about the foolishness of preaching.
mm,
He said it means, how he takes all the words Greek and Hebrew. He says to play the part of a madman,
mm,
and he says we all are a
yeah,
little. And I mean, again, we work for somebody that we believe in that we can't even see,
right.
and so yeah, me, I don't know about none of the rest of y'all that's watching, but I'll say in a minute,
Mhm,
I don't know.
mhm. But I hope,
Yeah,
right?
that's all we do.
That's it. I don't know if
Sometimes we hope against hope.
right. I don't know if there be a heaven, but I hope there is. And apparently, according to scripture, that's enough. Like that little grain of hope can mature and blossom into a belief for me. But it is still built on the uncertainty of the great grand mystery that God is, right? Um, so you're in church, you're in ministry, you fall in love. I'm interested also in how we fall in love, right? Because I think for us who have done church work and envision a life in ministry, when we say marriage, it changes the type of person. It changes maybe what we're attracted to, what they need to be, how I see myself, how I see us. And when you're young, I don't know if we're developed emotionally enough to understand what it's going to take to sustain what we're attracted to, and since I know I'm coming out of the classically Pentecostal denomination, where they didn't talk to us about love, they talked to us about lust. They were very descriptive about lust, what it is, what I shouldn't do, and it was to me more enamored with what I did with my body, instead of telling me how to engage my heart, so that when I am with someone I actually know how to love them. And that left me wanting in my marriage. How did you experience that?
So I think they talk more about lust than love because a lot of them, I'm free to talk, right?
No, no, let's no, I can't we came here to do it. Tell the truth.
A lot of them were not in love.
Yeah.
They married because they were in lust, and they were taught it's better to marry than to what?
To burn.
And you actually, I often say, you were still burning because you was lying about you was still burning. Hell, you was still burning. And um so when I married a young lady. You remember Pastor Kim? I married Pastor Kim, who was out of our faith prayer tabernacle. I don't know if you knew that.
No,
She
I
was,
didn't.
yeah, she was on all them God Has Smiled on Me albums,
Oh,
all the way from Charles Ashley, the
correct.
s- the
First,
daddy.
the daddy. Right, right,
Yeah.
right, 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 right.
And then she, when the daddy died, and DK Craig got it,
Mm-hmm.
the uncle,
Mm-hmm.
their uncle,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and the Craigs went and started their own from him.
Right.
She stayed with Uncle David, is what we called him,
Mm-hmm.
and the Craigs went and started their own. Well, when Uncle David died, uh, I don't know if you know this, I was one of the candidates for the church.
Oh, really?
I preached there every month, one Sunday out of the month. It was a rotation, about 3 or 4 of us.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I didn't get the church. Me and Uncle David were close. Uncle David would send me different places to preach, and um, Uncle David was the first person I went out to dinner with, and it was a 5-star restaurant, and that's why I'm the way I am today. When he walked in, they found him a table immediately.
Right.
Dr. DK Craig.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I didn't get the church, but I was attracted to her. I wasn't really attracted to her though. I was attracted to the anointing.
Mm-hmm.
She led the pulpit. She was a missionary.
Mm-hmm.
And so we got married in 8 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's what I needed then. I am the man that I am today because of our partnership for 20 exact years.
Mm-hmm.
But what I needed then, and this is another mystery, don't y'all shoot me down. What I needed then is not what I need now.
Sure.
We grew apart. We didn't, no cheating, no none of that. We grew apart. There's no scandal, there's no nothing. We grew apart. I let ministry become number one. And by the time 18, 19 years passed, we had nothing to talk about. Word Network took control, and the 2 churches we had, and family, and building churches, building full gospel. What happens that the very thing that you love and gave your life for, which is ministry, I didn't say God, which is the work of ministry, the same thing that tore it up.
I am so interested because I was 20 something years ago. I was watching all
Sure
of
you
this
were.
happen.
You
I
was on the
watched
you was in the front, you was in the front and center of it.
at the front row. I was in the middle of it,
Yeah.
and I was always interested, and I reflect on it now. That did you know that perhaps you were using ministry not to have to deal with the nuts and bolts of relationship?
No,
Did it become
no,
some kind of escape
no.
for
It consumed us.
both of you all?
We were both guilty.
Mhm.
Neither one of us never said. The most she said was, "Honey, come home off the road. I miss you." Boom, boom, boom. Never said stop.
Mhm.
And I never. But I don't blame her as much as I blame me. I'm the man. See, everybody plays the fool. Everybody plays the part. My part was I should have slowed it down because they taught us, Pat, come on, that
No,
God is first.
you're right.
Sometimes
No,
God is first, the church, the people, then your marriage and your children. When actually it's nowhere near that. It's
right,
God,
right,
it's your family, it's your
right.
marriage, it's your children, and all them other people come somewhere after that. Um, he gave his life for the ministry. He, not for us to do it. And so, no, I was just as guilty. And no, while you're in it, you don't see it. It's hard to look above it
Right.
when you're in it. It moves. So you do it in the name of starting another church. You do it in the name of progress. You do it in the name of I'm doing this for
All of
y'all.
it. Yeah.
Hey,
All of
listen, let me tell y'all something. You start believing your own publicity. I'm doing this for our family. No, I'm not. No.
those were my questions,
No,
right?
I'm not. I wasn't. I was doing it because I wanted to.
And I don't judge you all for it. What I understood that you had a black middle class, the economy was thriving, churches were booming, and as their own economy, as their own enterprise, you all were part of expanding part of the church and broadening it. And we had never seen, and I'm not sure if we'll see again, this the phenomena of the mega church in that it was two and three churches in one location and helicopters between one church service to the next service and being I was on the road for a minute, 4 or 5 different cities a week, coming going in and out. I was there, and I don't judge you all because that was a moment. I My questions were really what was driving you. Is it was it the desperation of identity? This is who I am, or I found who I was, and this is what I need to do. And if I'm not doing this, I don't know who I am. If the church is a place where I get more affirmation in the pulpit than I get at home, so let me dig into this. The money was there, and so when you have money and you're married during that, it helps, alleviate some problems. Or did the money complicate things in a way that you're just like, I gotta chase it, I gotta keep going, got because the more you have, then the more you buy, the house becomes bigger, the car notes become bigger, and all of a sudden, to me, it's like you couldn't stop if you wanted to. At some point, you're in it to a point where if you don't do it, everything falls back.
You won't believe this. Um, I never did it for any of those reasons.
Mhm.
I love working. I love serving. It was pure. Mine was. I can only speak of me.
Sure.
Mine's was pure as the driven snow. I love serving Bishop Morton. I love building, even to this day. Maybe the reason why I'm still single. But my priorities are just different now. It's just different priorities. Now there are guys that I've heard talk. Their whole ambition is to move up and do that. That was never. It just happened. I didn't ask to be a bishop. Bishop Morton pulled me over in the bathroom as we was traveling across the country, um, consecrating the first 12, including your bishop.
Mhm.
You know, hey, don't tell nobody by next year. I mean, by the end of we hadn't even had the first conference. I'm gonna consecrate you. Keep it under your, and I did. And man, when I tell you, if I had it to do all over again,
Mm.
I wouldn't. I wouldn't. I was too young. I was a novice, and you may not even know me. If I hadn't, if I didn't do it, you wouldn't even know me.
Mhm.
I'd have just been a pastor at my grandfather's church. I would have took over his church maybe 12 years ago. Word network wouldn't have happened because everything was connected.
Sure.
I it I lost my I lost sight. I did things in the 90s when I first started pastoring I shouldn't have done. I brought Noel Jones, Marvin Winan, you name them, they was there. Eddie Long.
Right.
I had 60. You was there? I had 60, 70 churches
Yeah.
under me. I didn't know what the heck I was doing. So I put my church in debt,
Mhm.
hosting people, doing the work of a bishop. I
Mhm.
faked it. Didn't have that money. This is what they don't tell you. And then messed up a lot of young preachers because they try to do the same thing.
Yeah, it perpetuate. I try not to judge you all too harshly because there was no instruction manual for the moment that you all had. There was never a generation of pastors and church leaders who had as much access to capital and to a thriving black middle class. And I'm very compassionate with you, while also like, what were you all thinking about? Like, what was what was like, the what was what was so okay, so to that, and let me say this to it, and I'm not, this is not for you, but I did pick up on this as I was observing all these things. I saw a lot of unhealthy marriages, and it was none of my business. I was, just in the room trying to be invisible, but I saw a lot of unhealthy marriages, and I saw a lot of the conflict was over church. It was relationally about, you're not affirming me, and you're not spending time with me, and the kids are raising themselves, and all the like. And I thought to myself, church work seems all consuming. And so when I came into senior pastoring, I negotiated with myself that says that either I'm going to pastor or I'm going to be married. I didn't see how I could do both successfully because they're both all consuming to me. And if I'm going to be successful at one, I am going to be lacking in another. And so 17 years later, right, I harbor some resentment, um, that if I was a dentist, I would have been married, kids, been happy by now because the life would have been simpler, a 9 to 5, weekends off, vacation, all the like. But it costs you something to do ministry. Like, there's a personal sacrifice that you have to make. I could not imagine making those kind of sacrifices and had a wife and kids at home waiting for me and didn't care about what I was doing outside. They just want you home because they love you, and they want to be with you. Was there tension? What, did that ever come up? Like, hey, I need you here. I didn't marry you for all of this. I mean,
When I
did
would
you
get
like being
gone,
at home, or you like being on the road more?
I liked success. in the American Gangster in the what's Denzel's movie?
American Gangster.
American Gangster? Yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite movie. My favorite movie. He looks at the white Italian guy and he says,
Mhm.
"What's going on? They out here trying to kill me, man. What's going on?" And he looks at him and said, "What? You wanted it.
Mhm.
Success is trying to kill you. I wanted it. I'm not gonna sit here and act like that somebody had a gun up to my head. Every now and then, man, Patrick, I was doing almost 300 dates
Yeah.
in a year.
Yeah.
That's
I
why I don't
remember.
care about going to, yeah, conferences, 7 days of glory. All hey, Patrick, I'm talking before TV.
Mm-hmm.
That's what people don't understand. This was
Right.
before TV.
No, you was on the road. Like you was.
I was on the road.
You was on the road.
Every now and then she would say, "Come home."
Yeah.
Wasn't no pressure.
Yeah.
See, I used to think that people that will, you look at people, Patrick, and you say, why are they together? Such opposites. She's quiet and he's all, they just quiet with theirs. We're the
Mm-hmm.
same.
Mm-hmm.
You with somebody that's the same, I get a Negro told fast. She only got him told later on after she got tired of him. So I'm just saying, yeah. But then when she preached that full gospel and killed the house,
Mm-hmm.
we were both gone then.
Mm-hmm.
Gone. Gone. Like she preached that she preached at places that I didn't even preach, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because of our different styles. So we were both in the system. The system.
It was. It
You
was a
just
machine.
start going.
Yeah.
Huh?
It was a machine.
It takes you.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why when these young preachers ask me, and you ain't in that category no more. When these young preachers ask me about the road and all that, I'd be like, are you called to it? Because it's a calling. But you really don't know. And I tell them all the time, keep it pure. It's hard to keep it pure. And then when you're making more sometime than a doctor per hour, you get up there 45 minutes, then we have the audacity to say you wasn't fair to me. It was all
Right.
this stuff. Like
Yeah.
I had 4 Rolls Royces, you know? Like, I mean, even though I had other stuff going on for me, that's why now that stuff is not important.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a phony background behind you. I
No,
love
I know
sneakers.
it's not.
I
I know
love
it's.
sneakers. Listen, no, I love. You won't hardly see me in a collar. I
Mm-hmm.
love sneakers and jeans and t-shirts and hoodies and I wear this on my TV show. It don't matter. Solomon said that it all becomes dung,
Right.
and it's very. You have to work on yourself not to be bitter. I mean, for real, you
No,
do.
absolutely.
My granddaddy didn't want me to do none of this. When I told him I was leaving, going to Louisiana. Remember when I went to Louisiana?
Mm-hmm.
Your bishop helped orchestrate that to get me to Louisiana. My grandfather told me these are the words that he said. Ain't nobody ever left their family. I said, Abram. Oh, but you ain't Abraham. But let me tell you something, Sonny. And I hate whenever he said this, because whatever he said would come to pass. He said to me, I tried to hide and protect you from what you're about to see.
Mm-hmm.
And you're about to see things that because my grandfather was such a mild manner man, but he knew the in and outs of church. He was Baptist, political machine.
Mm-hmm.
He was the vice moderator of our district. He went to the convention. He went to the Baptist council every week. But he knew that I didn't know. And when I tell you, many times I would pass by his grave and I wanted to go sit and tell him, you told me so.
You were right. He wasn't
Many
wrong.
you try to keep people from, and I'm not bitter, neither am I killing the church. But Brister preached something years ago, showed the church to the church. We need to look at ourselves and our motives and our purity. I'm not talking about purity in living right. I'm
Mm-hmm.
talking about purity in why we do what it is we do.
Mm-hmm.
And I am I am not least to anybody because I don't have 10,000 members, 3,000, 2,000, 1,000, 500 members. Or I don't pastor anymore. Or I don't or I never, because God gave me a successful, I had to get this, Patrick. He gave me a successful worldwide ministry, the least of all people. So that was the good part of it too. Because you was in the rooms,
Mhm.
Eddie Long, Neil Ellis, Clarence McClendon,
Yeah.
Larry Trotter, all
Mhm.
these guys, um, uh, uh, California, Omer, everybody around that table had bigger churches. Even Luther,
Right.
all them guys.
Yeah.
I had less churches. I had less people. I had 200 people. Didn't have as much money as them, but I served, and I do believe in that. I served my way to where I'm at today. Nobody never expected me to be somebody that
I don't
they
think they
never.
did.
No,
I think they did.
no,
No.
they didn't,
Mm-mm.
and I didn't either. No, I didn't.
Yeah. No.
All
I.
I wanted to do was serve. My heart was pure, like for real. All I really wanted to do was serve. I love me some Bishop Paul Morton. Still do to this day. Still
Mhm.
serve him. So
Mhm.
anyway, I'm talking too much.
No. 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 This is what we came to do. So, were you ever happy being married?
I never thought about it.
What do you mean? You never thought about it.
By the way, you ask excellent questions.
What?
No, because it's a conversation. That's what I teach people when they're if coming from you ask excellent questions. I never thought about it.
Never thought about your own happiness. You never thought if you were happy.
No.
Do you regret that?
Yes. I sound like Bishop Ellis, don't I? Delano Ellis. No. Yes.
It comes out just just.
That's why when I'm doing Clubhouse and all these places now, and
Mhm.
people say, you don't get married to get happy. To hell, you don't. You should. And that's why I'm waiting if I do it again
Mhm.
or whoever I'm going to date. I want to be happy
Right. Right.
or I'm not going to do it
So 20 years.
because I didn't have it.
In 20 years, you
I
never.
wasn't unhappy, but I didn't think about it. We just was a machine. When when Bishop Morton got tired of me firing people as the bishop of field operation, he gave me Pastor Kim. I know you're not gonna fire her. So we had an office at headquarters at Greater St. Stephen. We had an office at home. We had office. We worked together. Never thought about it. She was my assistant. She was my co-pilot. Never thought about it until she woke up one morning at our 7 days of glory in Delaware. 2,000 people in a church that only seats 600. They was everywhere. We had the Sheraton Suites. I don't know who preached that night. It was somebody. Everybody was big. Might have been listening or who. I don't know.
Mhm.
She woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning and say, she starts screaming, "Just let me go if you're not happy. If you're not happy." Do you know what we're in the middle of right now? All these people here from out of town, and they was there from Barbados and everywhere. By this time, I was on the Word Network. What? What do you mean? And it dawned on me, it was over. It had been over.
See, that was
So
gonna be my next question: is when did you know it was over?
then I had a place in Detroit, a loft. I had a place in Delaware, an apartment. We had our house in Detroit. I mean, in Philadelphia, in Pennsylvania. We were pastoring two churches, Delaware and Downingtown. And I was helping my grandfather's church. And I was doing Rejoice in the Word on Friday nights. Delaware was growing by leaps and bounds. Didn't have time to think about. But I would come home on the weekends and we'd go to dinner. We had nothing to talk about. Nothing but kids, ministry, the next conference, a list of stuff. It was Blackberries then, and we'd be on our Blackberries. We had nothing to talk about. On vacation, we planned our uh, vision for the next year.
Mhm.
We'd go enjoy ourselves every now and then. And then I went to the Keys with Bishop Trotter. This when he left Full Gospel.
Mhm.
We went to the Keys and we hated it. We left that same day and we went to Miami. Carlos Malone found us a hotel there, and I fell in love with Miami. And this is when I knew it was over. I had never done this before. I started going on vacation by myself. Patterns changed,
Mhm.
and I realized that it was over. We never argued. We never no long talks. Hey, even down to the end, we was a team.
Mhm.
Even when we made the announcement to the two churches, we was a team. We orchestrated telling Micah, my baby girl, we orchestrated everything just like a team. When I got through announcing that we were separating, she got up and right after me and said, "And don't y'all say nothing about him. Gregory Michael Davis will forever be my hero." And she still says this, and we're still best of friends. She got on Clubhouse one day telling everybody, what he telling y'all, he ain't lying. She won't refute none of this. Because we understand we were together to build one another. Is it dysfunctional to some people? I
Mhm.
mean, I went to her anniversary. I still go there and I'm going to preach next month. We talked today.
Mhm.
I can't think of the artist. You would know him. He's in Delaware. And Norman Hutchins, him and his wife were there, and
Mhm.
Norman preached for her. And I happened to be in town and I went. And Norman's wife called her the next morning and said, "We just need to ask you something, Pastor Kim. You and Bishop back together? Ain't y'all divorced?" She said, "No, we ain't together." She said when they got to the parking lot, they said, "Have you ever seen any strange stuff like this that they get along like that?"
So you
And we,
discovered that perhaps you were better as friends
yeah,
than you were as husband and wife.
yeah, yeah, we were partners.
How did you mourn? How did you mourn that loss? Because divorce is a death.
Mhm.
It is, you grieve it like like a death. And being in it 20 years, a whole lot of you is wrapped up, invested in this. And now, did you feel like a failure, or did you feel like I got my life back? Did you it redefines you on some level?
All of it,
Yeah. Yeah.
all of it.
Yeah.
You left out one.
What's
You
that?
left out one. Embarrassed.
Mm.
I'm on TV.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on TV going through a divorce.
Right.
All right, the world is watching. They're whispering,
Mm-hmm.
and I am crying. Then I was diagnosed with diabetes, and I'm losing weight because I put myself on a regimen. I'm losing weight on purpose, but yeah, all that at one time.
Yeah.
Overcame diabetes, and I'm grieving.
Yeah.
I moved back to Detroit. It's Memorial Day, and I'm wondering, what do I do? Because I'm used to being with the family. I said, Lord, this is gonna be so boring. I went for my 5 mile walk, and I discovered another life,
Mm-hmm.
that everybody wasn't at home doing the same thing
Mm-hmm.
every year, every holiday.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm grieving, so I start dating somebody else. So much grieving that I almost moved in with the girl until I woke up one day and said, "What are you doing?" It's like a prodigal son experience. And I got up and went to my place, And I was like, and great young lady. We're still friends to this day, but just wrong timing.
Right.
Cause I'm on rebound.
Yeah.
I start taking her on the road with me and all kind of foolishness. Hit her at full gospel when just foolishness. This is after the divorce, but you know, you start doing foolish things. Some people binge, drink, and get on drugs when a death occurs. You're right. It's a death. That's what I teach. So
Yeah, and this our depression can manifest in a few different ways. Sometimes it's overeating, over drinking, over sexual, just or we're sleeping, we're withdrawn, it manifests in all those ways. But those are all symptomatic of the fact that we are depressed. Our life has not worked out the way we envisioned it. Oh, what am I going to do now? Is God going to leave me? That am I still called? Am I still gifted? Like, what do I do with my life? Because I had not planned on this. And a lot of times the church and the world doesn't hear men talk. They act like we're not human, right?
mhm.
Like we don't feel things or what have you. And we take that very deeply. And the emotional pain was visceral on a few levels. And I realized, okay, like if I'm going to keep doing this, I have to get healthy. Like I have to. So for me, therapy was one of the best decisions I made in my adult life, to be able to go and have somebody not care about my religion, my church affiliation, just look me square in the eye and make me challenge myself and look at my decisions. What was that healing process like for you?
So I believe in therapists, but I've never had one.
Hmm.
Um, Only for the lack of trusting somebody because of who I am.
Hmm.
Um, I had a bad experience with one, and I won't even mention their name. I won't say if they're male or female, but they told me everything that they counseled my wife about. So it made me not trust a therapist.
Hmm.
If I text you the name, you would know, and you would say, "Oh yeah."
Hmm.
um, so um, couldn't talk to my bishop because he was disappointed in us.
Yeah.
He told me, he said, y'all was the next power couple next to us. He shared his disappointment.
Mhm.
So I'm like, wow, you know. By the time we got to him and Pastor Deborah, we were done. It was just a formality.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna tell you what I did, and it's not right, okay? Would you just not judge me?
That's fine. No, ain't no judging.
I suppressed it.
Mhm.
My son, do you remember Oscar Hayes?
Mhm.
Oscar, yeah, who am I talking to? I'm talking to the son of a historian.
Right.
But
Right.
you
Yeah.
send me a hey, I ain't charging for you. Send me an old album of somebody.
I got you.
So listen. He told me one day we were on radio before he died. We did radio together. He was my co-host, and he said we were talking about it on the radio. I said I suppressed it. He said, "Dad, um, Dad, that's not safe." He said because what it does is it'll manifest somewhere else.
Yeah.
And so I start dealing with my feelings.
Mhm.
And this is part of it right here. I start talking about it to everybody
Mhm.
because there's others.
Yeah. Right.
So within a year's time now, last time we checked 2 months ago, 700,000 people have been through my clubhouse when the right one comes. Thousands have watched the men's program on Monday nights, 80 weeks strong.
Mhm.
And so I decided to not hold it in, but talk about it through my videos, through
Mhm.
my posts, through when the right one comes, through my books, through everything. So that's my
Mhm.
that's my therapy.
Did it change the way did the divorce and marriage? Did it change the way you viewed women? Did you eye them with a suspicion after that? Was it just as easy for you to trust, or did you go into relationships to go forward, a little leery because a woman had maybe disappointed you and let you down?
No, my issue with women now is not that. It's that I don't want to mess up again. I ain't got
Mhm.
but one more try. So
Mhm.
it's more fear of it not working, like everybody, or who sent you. Because I'm Bishop Greg Davis.
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay, I know who I am. I don't brag about it. You know, you've been with me for years. You know, I'm not that kind of person to brag about who I am.
Mhm.
I'm just not that. But I know who I am. So it makes me leery when you get in my DM, and you could honestly, you know,
Sure. Right. Right.
but I don't know who sent you. So I give people a hard time, and they tell me.
Mhm.
So it don't make me look at women. I think my mother made me look at women crazy.
How
I think
so?
my father. Well, I told you what my mother was. My father has kids all over the place. He's a Rolling Stone. It skipped
Mhm.
over my grandfather to me. My
Mhm.
father, I don't believe in God. He's 86 years old, and he was married once. Married somebody 19 when he was damn near 50, and so no matter how much I have my grandfather in me, I
Mhm.
still have the blood and the demons of my father,
Mhm.
and that's who I fight. Billy Davis. He was an entertainer. Played for matter of fact, if you watch the Sam Cooke documentary on Netflix, he's one of the
Mhm.
commentators on it. Billy Davis. I mean, all this is in my blood.
Mhm.
So I fight that. I am actually uh I don't have a problem with women.
Mhm.
No one that's ever been with me will complain. I don't abuse, boom, boom, boom. So no, that's not my issue at all. My issue is the fear of making the wrong decision.
I get it. Um, it's like when I was a kid, I went skiing and had never been skiing before. Church trip, went skiing. It didn't seem too complicated. It seemed like skating to me. So put on the skis, go up to the highest mountain, go down the mountain, had a ball all day. I would never make that decision now because I understand what could happen, the danger of, oh, these bones don't heal like they used to. And I think the same way about love. When you're really serious about wanting love in your life, you tend to be more careful and not as courageous, right? When you're young, yeah, we get married, everything will work out. Don't worry about it. We'll, whatever it is, we'll work it out. You get, older and you've been through a divorce, like everything just don't work out. Um, you know, I'm not. I love you, but I am very much careful about, can I make you happy? Can we have a life? What about this? What about that? And it makes you more cautious. And Maya Angelou says that courage is the highest of all virtues. For without it, we can do nothing. And so I think in my adult life, it hasn't been love that has been my issue. It has been more courage.
Hmm.
I've been way more careful, especially when it comes to my heart, right? As men, we can give body and not give heart. But when your heart, when you love somebody, you start rationalizing life and love and marriage very differently. And it's like, can I take another breakup? If it doesn't, like if it goes all wrong, like can I take a broken heart in my lifetime? And to those issues, we become much more careful. So to that end, you make a decision or come to a conclusion that pastoring is not um, in the future for you as it was in the past. So you redefine or reframe your relationship to the church. I assume that is like a death and a mourning in the sense that your lifestyle changed, and that has to be a huge decision to step away from something that has defined you for so many years. What was your thought process about making that decision? How did you process after it, and where are you now with that decision?
So I shouldn't have never started Celebration Church of Detroit 5 years ago.
Mhm.
I started it out of the love for my daughter, Pastor Dana. She was pastoring. I said, "Hey, let's start a church together." been my spiritual daughter for 30, 30, 31 years.
Mm-hmm.
And we started celebration. We stayed in the school for 3 years. Right before the pandemic, we got a building.
Mm-hmm.
January of the pandemic. And March, of course, you know what happened. We was out.
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't have much of a foundation. We had just started business. So we went for a year feeding people. She married the music director of the Word Network and also my musician and like a son. When we did crusades in Miami, I'm asleep. They out having dinner together, and they had known each other, and they end up getting married. And she said, Dad, I don't want to do this no more. I want to do my own thing. I was hurt, but you have to love people enough to let them go,
Mm-hmm.
and nothing is forever.
Right.
And so I made a cognizant decision that this right here, the virtual space, my ultimate dream, and I put it out there, is to have a show like Michael Bay's did. Relationship and talk.
Mm-hmm.
That's my ultimate next thing. And I'm building my brand to do that. And so you want to tell you, I know it's just me and you talking
There's
in
just
case somebody else. There's
yeah.
just I don't miss it
Mm-hmm.
because I don't want to be where God is not.
Mm-hmm.
I, everybody that's still doing church the traditional way, I'm not knocking that. The church will be here forever. I just don't think it looks like it used to. I think this is part of it. How many people now are having programs like this? Listing Page has 2 programs now. It pushed people into doing things on a greater level. I got people following me that
Yeah.
would never have followed me had I,
Yeah.
dude, I'm
Yeah.
serious.
No, I totally agree. Our church has grown more during the pandemic than we were being in the building every week, and it's very strange. It's the strangest thing, but because of my personality has a lot to do with it. Because I'm gonna go to church, I'm gonna do what I need to do, and I don't care who's there. I'm gonna be faithful. I'm gonna do what I need to do, and I'm gonna go home. Pandemic pushed me out of the walls and made us become virtual, which exposed our ministry more to broader people that I would never have done on purpose because I wouldn't have never thought to. Because one of the things we talked about is that during the pandemic, what we had time to do was to think, and
Mhm.
all of this time we've just been doing, going from Sunday to Sunday, doing what we do, and we never had time to think about, well, is this effective? Is this the way I want to do it? Do I still want to do it? Do I still want to do it alone? All of these things. And so, how has we talked about evolution earlier? How has the pandemic helped you evolve as a man and as a spiritual person?
Of course, I spend. I mean, you by yourself, so you spend more time with yourself. My hearing
Mm,
from God is keener.
mm,
I hear like so precisely. Um, I I even told my friend um that I said, man, it's so strange because I just hear stuff, and I mean it happens like uh uh it happens immediately, like being by myself, because I don't play. I don't let nobody in and out. My housekeeper comes and all that. Um, if I travel, I haven't flown but 2 flights in two years, and you know how I used to travel. I
yeah.
drive everywhere.
Okay.
Okay, I
Okay.
drive everywhere. Go to Atlanta regularly, but yeah, I I hear God clearer. Have a better relationship with Him. I go to church when I get ready. I'm a part of Triumph Church.
Mhm.
Pastor Solomon Kenlock here, actually helping with evangelism, uh, because that's my one of my things that I love doing. But I go to church when I get ready. I have church on Clubhouse on Sundays. I do a word from 12:30 to 1:30 of
Mhm.
empowerment. Ain't no music or nothing. Saturdays I do prayer for the singles and married people. I have a musician on there with me.
Mhm.
Um, Past that, I'm doing my clubhouse stuff. I'm doing my shows. I have a prophetic show on Sunday nights at
Mhm.
9 with prophets that's been going on almost 2 years.
Mhm.
It's so I'm busier than ever. I do a Bible class on Wednesday nights with my spiritual daughter, Mirthleen Sampson in Brooklyn. Been doing that for 2 years.
Mhm.
I've preached probably 3 times during the pandemic. Outside of, I preached in Dubai virtually. I preached. It's expanded my ministry, man.
Yeah.
Like everything. They got the young preachers movement, pointing the young preachers. It's been amazing. The pandemic has stretched me. I think we think that tradition is older people.
Right.
It's not. Tradition is a mindset. It can be young or old.
Yeah, yeah, it's very true. Since I have you here and you are a leader in the Lord's church and your purview is very wide, I'm interested in what you think about this church. Um, I when I talk to Bishop Pearson, and I see somebody do something stupid in the name of Jesus, something. I said, this is all your fault. So, like you broke open this seal of the exposure of Pentecostalism to the world, and now everybody's got a camera, right? Every church got its own broadcast ministry,
But
and
I think we should have been had that.
but my question is this good or bad? Because we're seeing a lot of stuff that goes on in church that I'm struggling it to call.
Patrick, it's always been here. Now it's just being seen at a greater. It's always been here. It's always been here. I mean, you got good doctors, you got bad doctors. You got good lawyers, you got bad lawyers. You got good preachers, you got bad. I think you got to take that with the good and the bad. Got word and that word. One of my shows just went off. You got good and you got bad on here. Or let me say, you got some. Uh, you got some that may not be to our liking, but they got crowds. Jesus said, "There are sheep that are not of my fold."
Mhm,
It's not for my appetite,
mhm.
but as long as they're not harming the sheep, I learned how to appreciate people.
Beyond the behavior that we see and some things that take place, I'm also interested in what you think about the content, the revelation, the logic that is coming out of the pulpit nowadays. I see a lacking, and it's because probably I came up in the golden age of the Black charismatic Pentecostal movement, where there were some people who we knew them by what they preached. They preached this stuff that was just amazing. I mean, we were in the room when some man or woman of God got up and just, I mean, my goodness, I don't see a lot of that now, and I'm wondering, is that me, or is it changing? Is that changing in ways that you can identify with, or is there something we lost along the way?
The thing, everything is a blessing and a curse. The very thing that this is, social media, is a blessing to reach more people. It's also a curse because there's nobody that can tell you not to.
Right. You're right.
and they're not listening to the fathers no more.
Mm.
And the fathers are really not talking because the fathers are saying, reason why I did young preachers, the fathers are saying, y'all don't listen to us, you disrespect us. And the young preachers are saying, y'all don't talk to us, y'all talk about us. And so nobody's talking to each other. So like Clubhouse or any of this, people can just get on and say whatever they want to say.
Mm.
That's why you got the bloggers. That's why you have, now a message can be given in three. I mean, the whole body of Christ knows when somebody dies when we push a button. You
Yeah,
know, information goes the speed of
yeah,
sound.
yeah.
I mean, now we're in the metaverse.
Right.
Everybody walking around with the, what is it called, Oculent, whatever it is. Yeah,
Oculus. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I'm gonna give me some.
I
Yeah,
want to actually. I want
because I'll be watching them doing all this. I'm like, I want to do this too. But
to.
but but I just think that. Let the wheat and the tare grow together, and I'll do the
Mhm.
separating.
All right.
That's the
Yeah.
word.
Yeah.
I just have never. I grew up around an old man that just didn't talk about people. And let me say this: as preachers, we all we got. I'm not condoning it. I'm simply saying I don't know who is and who ain't. Stuff that I think ain't right, it ain't for me.
Mhm.
It just ain't for me. So me and you know this guy, Larry Trotter.
Mhm.
You know, he like all the robes and miters and all that stuff. I've been over that. Like, I don't even know if I can fit my robe. I don't know if it need to be let out, let in, or whatever. I ain't because we don't wear them. I said, why do you wear all that stuff?
You
I
know
might not.
what?
I might have not said that. I said, and he said, I like it. And you know what he said to me? He said, it just don't make me no greater than you or nobody else. He said, it's our stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's our stuff.
Mhm.
Hey, since I've been wearing my jeans, you've been following me, my jeans and my J's. There's not one person that calls me Greg. They still call me Bishop.
Mhm.
You know what that made me realize?
Mhm.
That those things don't make me Bishop. None of it. The might or none of that stuff. That's how I've evolved. People still that don't even know me from that world, they say they still call me Bishop, which is one of the reasons why I'm single because a lot of women don't want to be bothered with a bishop.
Mhm.
You know, I learned from Reverend Run. He never took Reverend Run off his name.
Mhm.
And he reaches the hip hop generation, he reaches everybody. So I know some people got a problem with what's his brother's name? Um,
Russell Simmons.
I love him because he reaches all generations. That's who I emulate, that I want to be in the body as I turn 60.
Mhm.
I want to be relevant. I saw my grandfather get irrelevant when he started wearing one color jacket, one color bottom, different color shirt, white socks. I said, Lord, never.
Well, he was from he was in Detroit though. So I mean,
Yeah. I
yeah.
hate you. I hate you because you know a little history. I wonder where you got that. I wonder where you got that from.
I mean, that's like
Where'd you get that from? But
right.
I just you got it honest.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just at this point, that stuff don't matter to me. Can I
Mhm.
help some people with relationships? Can I help some people to think out of the box? Can I help some people to evolve and not worry about what people think? You know, the greatest day of my life, next to receiving Jesus Christ as my Lord,
Mhm.
is when I became comfortable with me. I am so comfortable with me and who I am. That's a great day.
So let me ask you this. We'll wind up, and I again thank you for your time.
Oh, I'm enjoying this.
Yeah, I am too. I am too. I'm glad we did this. Do you do you do you want to love again? And knowing you the way I do, my second question is, will you allow somebody to love you the way you need to be loved?
Yeah, that's all I want now. I don't
Mhm.
have a long list.
Mhm.
I just want to be loved for me, not bishop, not
Yeah.
title, not who I am in church, not who I am. If a woman asks me, what do I want? I just want somebody to love me. I want to be in love. I still believe in love. I never experienced it to that level.
Mhm.
So that's what I want. You hit it on the head.
Okay.
I think everybody deserves at one point in their life
At least once in your life.
to be in love. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
want to be in love.
Okay. I'm gonna let you go. I got 5 quick questions. I'm gonna ask you, and then I'll let you go. Got a lot of
Lightning round.
lightning round.
Okay.
Lightning round. You can take as long as you want for the answer, but
No,
these
I'm
are the
good.
questions.
Yeah.
Um, do you believe in heaven?
Yes. I'm not gonna go no further than that.
Okay. Um, what do you know about love that you didn't know then?
That love in its purest form can be amazing.
Mm,
That that it's possible, but less people are in love than what we think,
mm, yeah.
especially in the church.
Oof. Yeah. Um, next question. What is a good lover?
Somebody that not only loves your body but loves your mind.
Mhm,
That they start loving you while you at work, sending you texts. Foreplay leads to that. Flowers. I send you DoorDash all the way till you walk in the door. I'm loving your mind on your mind. Then the body just automatically comes.
mhm,
By the time you get home, you'll tear your clothes off of me and you.
mhm.
Ain't got to get to the bed. We on the wall. We in the kitchen. Go ahead.
Am- Amen.
Ah!
uh, where do you find joy?
Within
Mhm,
me first, I have to become what it is that I want.
mhm,
I have to become joy. I have to become happiness. I have to become peace. I find it within me. And then I let somebody else into that. I'm not bringing 50-50. I don't believe in 50-50. I believe in 100-100. We're not bringing halves.
gotcha.
That's been a myth.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. A very damaging myth.
It is.
Yeah,
I'm trying to bring a half, and no, we need to bring whole to the table.
I
You know,
absolutely.
Jesus always said, even if the person was sick, he said, "Be thou made whole."
Mhm.
He spoke to everything about them.
I love it. Last question. What has changed about yourself during COVID?
The way I view the church, I view it more universal than I did prior to. It's not four walls.
Mhm,
I don't knock. Some of these people out here knocking. The church is not going anywhere in the building. It's just not going to be as full for a while. Okay.
mhm.
But it's helped me view the real universal church that is just about is more than four walls. That I don't have to leave my home in order to reach people. I do my TV show from Word Network right downstairs in my house.
Mhm,
I have 3 sets. My TV show, I have one that I do for more churchier, and this is my laid back look.
mhm.
So I've learned how to expand my thinking. And I am so uh not vulnerable. What's the other word? Transparent. This has given me such a transparency.
Mhm.
Not reckless, because I don't believe you tell everything,
Right,
but
right.
such an openness.
I'm glad that you found healing in that for you.
It is.
Yeah,
It is. Um, it is.
yeah. I'm
Yeah.
glad you found that for you. Thank you, Bishop. I appreciate it. I'm glad we caught it. It's been a minute, so I'm glad you're still here. I'm glad that you're healthy. I'm glad that you're living and thriving. I'm glad you survived it all.
Oh, it
So
was a
it
lot.
was a lot.
You know, it's some people that think they survived and they're not healthy.
Yeah, yeah.
They're still
Unfortunate.
doing the same. That's why I just can't. when I talk to certain people now, it's just not even the same.
I'm sure it's not. I know it's.
We're on two different
Yeah.
we're on different wavelengths.
Yeah.
No, I'm being serious.
Well,
We're not. You still talking about the same stuff, and you don't even understand what I'm doing.
yeah.
You know, and I'm done. When I started this relationship thing, a lot of people, because they make a little they used to make a little. Oh, so you a relationship coach now? Nah, they all give a relationship thing. Let's keep up. I've never been a follower. I've always been, not in the sense of I don't follow people, because but in the sense of I make my own paths, and it works for me.
And I'm glad you found that path for yourself.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
glad you evolved.
As you
Yeah. Thank you.
as you new beginnings.
Yeah.
I think you know this saying. Tell me who said it, Mister Heir of Church history. You ready?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Rock bottom don't mean nothing to God, because God made the rock.
That's
You can
Bishop
always wait, hold on. You can always begin again.
Cobb.
Now I didn't hear Preacher Cobb say that. I heard Eugene DeGray say it. So did he get it
Okay.
from Preacher Cobb?
Yeah, he got it from preaching.
Oh, see, I didn't know. See, I wasn't in that era.
I'm in Chicago, so
Well, see, yeah, see, for me, it's C.L. Franklin.
you Detroit. Very
They
Detroit.
were probably at the same time.
Yeah, they were. They
Yeah,
absolutely were. Because
yeah,
because Preacher Cobb didn't die till 79,
yeah.
70, yeah, 78, 79.
And
So
so
they
they the same time. So for me, I heard Eugene DeGray say it, and I quote
yeah,
it all the time. Rock bottom don't mean nothing to God, because
yeah,
God made the rock.
yeah.
You can always begin
Beginning.
again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
beautiful. That's beautiful. Thank you, Bishop.
Love
Let
you.
love you too. Let everybody know where we can find you on social media.
And
Your
if you don't invite me back in the next year, I'm coming back without you.
what?
I'm
You
gonna
are
just be here on
definitely
the
coming
side.
back in
Hey,
the next week.
I'll be right here at 6 o'clock and just say, uh, everything, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Bishop Greg Davis, TikTok, Greg
Yeah.
Davis.
Okay. Okay.
Uh, on Clubhouse, Bishop Greg Davis, when the right one comes.
Okay.
YouTube, when the right one comes. That's
Okay.
it.
That's wonderful. Thank you, sir, for your time. Thank you all for being with us, for hanging out. Your comments, I see them. I love you all. Thank you for hanging out with us. Bishop Davis, love you. Take care of yourself. And you will we'll have you back soon. We're gonna get you back soon. We gotta do some more stuff together. We should do
I may have you come in Clubhouse.
yeah, we should do some
Yeah,
stuff
we're gonna do
together.
stuff together. Yeah, I
I
like
don't
the way
jump to
you
the clubhouse. I ain't get invited up to the thing, but I've been
you
in
been
there.
in my room.
I've been in your room before.
Just
Absolutely.
send me a what you call. Let me know you're there. That's all. You
All
got
right.
to follow me, and I follow you back. Then I know when you come in.
Okay.
Come
All
to
right.
the stage and share your mind. I got a great team. They would love your thought process.
Wonderful. I love you. Take care of yourself.
You
And
too.
I'll see you again soon.
Let
Thank
me
you,
sound
everybody.
let me
Peace
sound
out.
churchy. Peace I leave with you.
Jesus.
Bye.
Bye.